everyone. So I'm back after a while on the podcast. I've missed it so much, and it's been a while that I wanted to record a podcast. I just didn't have a lot of episodes, not just one, but it just didn't have the, I was struggling with a lot of things. That's how I can summarize it. And today I'm re-kicking or restarting season 2, because I left it as season 2 with one episode in 2021 and then another episode in 2022. So we're just gonna scratch that off. Okay, ignore that those two were part of season 2. I'm just gonna start it again. This is gonna be the first episode of season 2, just because I want a fresh start. I just want to start from, anyway, a fresh start. So this episode is just going to be a little catch up. I'm just going to share a bit of the realizations and a bit of what happened in the past year or two. So yeah, we're going to dive into a few topics. I'm going to talk about overthinking, perfectionism, toxic friendships, a bunch of things. So yeah. Anyway, I do want to introduce the podcast because it's been a while. So for those who are already used to listen, and for those who are new, I am not sure how I'm gonna do that. I completely forgot how to podcast, but I'll just introduce it, how I'll introduce it to a stranger. So the podcast is called Your Life is Your Canvas, and it's Adviceologie's podcast. And on this podcast I speak and I dive deeper into whatever relates to personal development, mental health, lifestyle design, anything that can help us improve our lives. I dive into that because I have a stage on the podcast. It feels like I can talk, and I love to talk. So I'm gonna keep saying so. Anyway, let's just get into it. So I don't know why today, again, I'm gonna keep saying so. It's just today is so word. Anyway, where am I even gonna start? There's so much, a lot has happened, and I was absent on the podcast, but I was still very much active on Instagram and recently on YouTube. I stopped podcasting because I was overthinking every single thing that I was saying. Every single thing that I was saying, I was overthinking it. And when I record a podcast, I was so full of joy, because I love talking, as I said, full of joy. And then I go into the editing phase, and how do we say this? But I break down every single thing that I say and then start overthinking it. And I would spend month and month on one single episode, and it was just way too much. It was way too much. And I was like, what is going on? You used to record a podcast, edit it in less than a week. It's up and that's it. You never look back. I never went back and listened to a podcast. That's it. And why? Why? Because I was surrounded with people that made me feel so much doubt. So much doubt. And this is something that I slightly spoke about on Instagram. But unfortunately, the circle that I was in, and that circle wasn't actually a circle, it's just random, it's just separate friends. But I was made to believe that my confidence and my voice, the fact that I have a voice and own it, the fact that I am opinionated in the sense that I know myself and I know what I want. And if I don't like something, I'm not afraid to voice it. If I don't like something that someone did to me, I'm not afraid to voice it. I'm not afraid to say, hey, I don't want this. In general, these people would always, criticize me for being who I am. And it reached a point where I actually believed what they were saying. And I was like, oh my God, am I hurting people without realizing? Am I overconfident? Am I arrogant? And I know for a fact that I'm not. And I kept questioning these things, and I kept wondering, and I was like, what is going on? And then I kept, trying to make myself, I'm gonna say, calm myself down. And I was like, no, girl, like, don't worry, you're not, like, yourself, you never purposely hurt people. And like, so many people appreciate you, people appreciate who you are, like, and the right people know who you are, but the right people don't feel triggered by these, characteristics or these qualities. And I was like, just so confused, like really, really confused. To have the people that you are close with, some of them, not everyone, but to have those some people that you were close with to bash you for the very things that make you, like, my confidence is me, like, I'm a confident person, and that's just who I am. Okay, just wanted to pop in here and say that I don't want, like, that's not what I mean. Like, confidence is not who I am. I am a confident person, but I can lose, like, my confidence. Confidence is a fluctuating thing, but it's more so that I take initiatives and I'm not afraid to dream. I'm an ambitious person and I'm confident about that. Yeah, back to the episode. Okay, but to have, like, people feel threatened by it, and your close friends feel threatened by it, and not even just to feel threatened by it and then like, hey, like, yeah, I feel threatened by it, let me work on it. It's more like, I feel threatened by it and I'm gonna make you feel bad about it. But at that time in the situation, I started doubting myself a lot. And then when I went back to Saudi, I was sort of like just distracted with my thesis. But then when all of that was gone, I was left with my thoughts, because there was no distraction anymore. Like, yes, I had adviceologie, but there wasn't any like actual distraction, because studies can be a huge distraction. There wasn't any distractions. I was forced to be in my feelings. I was forced to, like, just like dive in, because clearly I felt something. So I was like, like, there's no need to like hide it. There's no need to like just shove my emotions. Let me just see what's going on. But I never had any realization. I never realized anything. I was still very hurt. I was still in the moment. I was still even if I no longer had connection with those people, it still felt like I was like, what is going on? Is there something wrong? Like, am I doing something wrong? And that's it. That made me bottle up, and it made me just close down. And I knew that the podcast for me was such a huge, like, it's a way for me to speak. I share. So there's like, you can tell someone's, character, or you can feel more connected to someone through a podcast. And I just decided to take that decision, and I just like, what, I'm not going to be on the podcast. Like, plus I tried, but every time I just overthinked everything. So I took my distance from the podcast, and I was like, I will be back eventually, but right now I need to heal, and I need to heal. So I went on my healing journey, and it took a while. It took 2 years or 1 year and a half. In 2022, I started feeling like myself again. And honestly, like, losing yourself and then finding yourself again, like, losing yourself is it is an awful thing, but like, finding yourself again is a huge process. It's a long process. But what's beautiful about it is that you find yourself again, and you find a better version of yourself, because, well, the old version went through things, and this new version is, learned from those things. And it was not until my 25th birthday where I started having so many realization about so many things. Like, every aspect of my life in which I had an issue with, I just started seeing more. It was like I started getting more clarity. I started understanding more. I started realizing more things. And I was like, girl. Like, and I see, and this is the thing. I was a bit not disappointed, but sad that I've allowed so much like overthink, like, what people were saying. And not people, but obviously they were close people, so like, like, it hurts, like, it hurts. And so it's sort of like, just, I was sort of like not disappointed, but just sad. And I was like, it sucks, but I see it today. And I'm happy. I'm happy and I'm grateful for this experience because it made me grow so much. Like, I have never felt this much growth since I've started my personal growth journey, which was at the age of 15. So in 10 years, the last time where I felt a big, huge shift was 10 years ago. And I'm so happy that I feel this like shift right now. And so, yeah, like, I didn't realize that I've allowed people to diminish my fire, my passion, my voice, like my power, you know, like, I did not realize that. And today I do. And today I can sense this, I can see the signs. Today I can see when someone does it and I stand up for myself. You know, like, absolutely not. Your insecurities, you go and you work on them. I am not responsible for people's emotions. And I want you to repeat this. You are not responsible for people's emotions. For me, it's like, I do nothing. I'm just being myself. I'm just taking initiatives. I'm just being, you know, my personality. Like, I'm someone who takes initiatives. I'm someone who has that assigned role of a leader. Like, whether I want it or not, people just assign that role. And it's funny because then the same people get mad about it. As I said, I'm not responsible for that. And somehow I felt like I was. Somehow I felt like I had to diminish who I am to fit into those places. Somehow I felt like, because I swear, when everyone is the same, you are bound to feel like there's something wrong with you. And I want you to know that there isn't. There isn't something wrong with you if you have that character. There isn't something wrong with you if you have that power and you have a voice and you're not afraid to, you know, share it and everything. And it's like, when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, it's insane how I didn't see it. But it just passed by me. And I assume, and I don't assume, I believe that God just didn't want me to see it that moment, so I can actually go through this breakthrough. And so, yeah, so believing like all of that, immediately I started shutting myself down. And I started overthinking so much. And that impacted me mentally. Like, I was no longer, and add to that, the whole circumstances were there for me to overthink. The fact that I had no social environment, the fact that on top of that there's quarantine, so you can actually go and meet people, the fact that my mental health was getting more and more just like messed up, and just everything. And what happened before, like with the friendship things. And so all of that just was the perfect environment for me to isolate and just be with my own thoughts. And I started overthinking every single thing. But obviously, as I said, I told you that I had the realization on my 25th birthday, which was back in August. And I realized that, like, so many things. And one of them, and these are the things that I want to share with you: do not diminish who you are to fit into places. Okay, do not sacrifice parts of yourself to fit into places that do not welcome them. Why are you sacrificing those parts in order to be with someone that turns down or tunes down those parts? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I didn't, like, my own actions and behavior don't make sense to me, but again, it's fine. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And that's what made me like overthink so much. And I was no longer chill. I was constantly anxious, like constantly overthinking everything. And recently I had so many breakthroughs, and I'm just like, what was I doing? Like, absolutely not. Like, why am I overthinking all these things? And it's still like a process, obviously. Like, I haven't become like the chill person that I once was. I was still an overthinker, you know, but still, like, I'm not like super chill right now. I'm still overthinking, obviously. Like, I overthink a lot of things. It's normal. But the fact that I started overthinking myself and like so many things, honestly. And I just want to let you know that if you're going through the same thing, or if you went through the same thing and you're healing through it right now, please know that you deserve people who celebrate all of you. And please know that there are people out there who value all of you. So yeah, like that's mainly what I wanted to say, just for anyone who's going through this right now, this moment, or healing through a similar experience. But yeah, it's definitely a difficult experience. It's definitely something that leaves you feeling some type of way. Not a very pretty type of way, just like, meh, like, what is life? Why are people like this? But yeah, the other thing is, as I mentioned in the beginning, perfectionism. I did say that I healed somewhat from my perfectionism, and it's true. I at first, like when I was done with my thesis and everything, and with the overthinking and everything, my perfectionism took over, made like a lot. But in the past 6 to 7 months, I've been really challenging myself, and it's been working really, really well, and I'm very proud of myself. If you want me to dig deeper into perfectionism and overthinking, like how to overcome them, and I'd be more than happy to. And if you have like any topic idea that you want me to speak about, please share that with me, either through email or my Instagram messages, like DMs. But yeah, I feel like I've healed. I actually like truly, yeah, I feel that's the word. I feel like I've healed from my perfectionism for about like 70 to 80%, and it feels great. Because I am no longer overthinking things so much, and it's more like, so I just post and that's it. Who cares? Like, we're all here to make mistakes. I feel like with that overthinking and everything that happened, I sort of put myself in this like role or pedestal of like, I'm supposed to know it all, or I'm supposed to this and that, or because I create content that I'm supposed to be an expert, or I don't know. But no, absolutely not. Like, I'm bound to make mistakes. I'm gonna make mistakes, especially that my content is so related to life, like, and my life, like my experiences, other people's experiences in my environment, secondhand experiences, basically, like all the things that I observe in my environment. I'm bound to not agree with things, like, and it's actually really, like, it's very much true, because if I go back to one of my podcasts, like my boundaries podcast, there are some things that I say that I don't necessarily agree with today, because more knowledge has been added to my life, more experiences have been added to my life, more, clarity, more realizations, more things. So, and this is the perfectionism that I let go of. I've always held myself to a unexpected standard, like an non-existing standard, and I'm letting go of that. I've been letting go of that since 2022, and 2023 is about to be wild in the sense that I am really like letting go of all these like restrictions and just like being free. Like, that's it. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to share what I learn, and yeah, like, it's fine. We all make mistakes. There's something that I'm gonna realize now that in 2-3 months or the next morning is not gonna be valid for me anymore, and it's fine. I feel like for so long I just thought that I had to have the same opinions, I had to have the same thoughts, I had to have the same agree with exactly what I said 4, 5, 6 years ago, yesterday, a week ago. No, we're allowed to change opinions, and because we're constantly learning, and that's the purpose of student of life. You're constantly learning. Life is constantly throwing things at you. Life is constantly, giving you new lessons, new realizations, new this, new that. You're bound to change. Your opinions are bound to change. You're bound to it's fine, it's okay. And that's what I've been teaching myself, and it's been beautiful. And so in that sense, I'm completely like healed from that restriction where I felt like I can't make mistakes, I can't do this, I can't say this, what if I no, like, it's annoying, it's tiring, it's draining, it's useless. So now I'm just living life and enjoying my life without having these like restrictions that are just unhealthy. They're really unhealthy. They restrain you more than anything. They just keep you down. They keep you there. And I did want to talk about, like right now, it popped in my head, and I was like, I do want to talk about how these things can be like, it could be also just self-sabotage. like perfectionism. But I think I'll just like wait for a different episode where I can dive deeper into perfectionism, overthinking, how the ways in which we self-sabotage and all these things. Now, before leaving, I do want to say that perfectionism can be a positive thing. You know, I love there are sides of my perfectionism that I absolutely love. The fact that it allows me to create beautiful work, the fact that it allows me to create quality work, whether it was in my professional like experiences or like studies or adviceologie, like it allows me to create work that I am proud of. Perfectionism becomes negative and bad when that perfectionism doesn't allow you to flourish. It doesn't allow you to blossom. It doesn't allow you to do anything because it's restraining you. It's keeping you down. It's like, no, this could be better. This could be better. So wait until tomorrow and then you can post it. And then tomorrow you look at it and you'll, you could have filmed this so much better if only you switched the angle. So then let's repeat that. Like, that is just useless. You know, we're bound to make mistakes. We're bound to not be our best selves. Like, we all start from something. And so like me today and the content that I create today has nothing to do with the content that I created like 4 years ago. It's the same, you know, topics, but not topics, but like theme, like personal development, but it's so much different. Like, the quality of my work today is so different from the one from before. But if I've never tried, I would have never reached the level or the skills of video editing, of you know, understanding Instagram, understanding these like social media, understanding all these things pretty much, like, you know, like podcast editing, just all these things. I'm still not at an expert level, obviously, but I am pretty well versed in what I do with adviceologie. It takes practice. It takes practice. If you want to achieve something, you have to let go of the expectations that you have about yourself and that thing, and just get started. And I think that's like I believe that's the actual like perfectionism that is hindering you. It's really bad and you need to let go of that. And that's the parts that I let go. But I still value my work and I still want my work to be nice. So I do spend time making sure that my work is nice, but it's not time that is like hurting my brain like it used to before. Time where I just want to give up and just be done. Like, no, it's, I want this to be like this and I want it to be good quality, and that's it. If I'm not able to reach it now, it's fine. The video is still gonna go up, the podcast is still gonna go up, the post is still gonna go up, the reel is still gonna go up. You got it, you know? So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. It was a little catch up. If you enjoy these little catch ups, let me know. I can do more. And yeah, if you're watching from YouTube, it would be lovely if you can join in the conversation and share your thoughts, you know, join in the comments. And if you're watching from a podcast platform, it would be great if you can leave a review. It really helps. Plus, just knowing your feedback really helps me, because when you just, I'm just putting a piece of, if you know, like a podcast, I was gonna say piece of content, I'm just putting like a podcast episode. There's not really a return. I'm not sure if you like appreciate it, if you enjoyed it, if so on. So it would be nice to have your feedback so I can know what you enjoy and what you want more of. And if you have, again, as I said, any podcast topic topic ideas that you want me to speak on, let me know, again, through email or DMs. All my channels, all my contact information are in the description, whether you're on YouTube or listening from a podcast platform. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm still getting used to this outro thing. But thank you, and I wish you the best. See you next week. Goodbye. Have a great week.